white fence is.
Right there?
Yeah.
That's where he's waving at me. So are these two buildings connected? Historically?
Those two are not. There's another building that's connected to the one that you can see.
Okay. So there's a little boy in between these buildings. So for me, that tells me that I'm supposed to be looking this way as well. Alright, you want to go to the cemetery?
Yeah.
So the man that's waving, he's got to be, he's an older guy. But back in the times that his clothing seems to imply, he's somewhere early 20th century, late 19th century. He's got the old kind of farmer look where he's wearing the, like the farmer kind of clothing, overall type of looking thing, but it's not, it's a little different. It's kind of like, I'm very religious, but then I'm also this almost type of farm guy. So he gives me the feeling of preacher more than he does farmer, but he dresses as if he's a farmer.
You can, yeah, the hitch is on the right side.
So, as soon as I walked in the gate, I heard, "Mommy, Mommy." So, how many children are in this cemetery?
I'm not sure, a lot of them were unmarked.
So, I'm not sure how many, like, if they're, like, the children that, oh. Wait a minute. So that building? Okay.
Yeah, there's two sections to that one.
There's a little boy that way. He's connected over there. So he's not the same as the children that I hear here in this space in the cemetery. There's the older man that is connected to both places that gives me like almost like a very religious preacher vibe from him. But he has that old, like almost like poor farmer kind of look, and he's from the era of like early 20th century, late 19th century. So I'm actually just gonna walk and turn around. Is that okay? You don't have to, I'm not gonna run off. I'm gonna run off. So there's a long, dark-haired woman, curly hair. She's right over here. So the name immediately that came to me, I don't know if this is the same for her, but as soon as I saw her, I heard the name Sarah. So Sarah could be connected to her or connected to somebody buried here. But she's long, dark-haired, dress. She has more of, she's actually gives this impression of being higher society. She's not giving the, more, blue-collar, hardworking farmer type. So it feels like she lost a little boy. And there's two little girls out toward the other end, up that way. I'm surprised to see so many children. I also get the impression that there's a lot of, I'm coughing and I see blood. So, a lot of these things a lot of the issues that occurred were a lot of things that were chest related in terms of almost like, what is it that Doc Holliday had? Was it tuberculosis? Something like that, where he would cough and blood would come out. Tuberculosis, things like choleras, things like that. Those are the things that are like the old diseases that are coming up. She passed away, she was sick too. She's not telling me exactly what she had, but she's showing me, it makes me wonder if she had like something different, something more. I know that TB can be long-term, but hers feels like long-term, almost like she had some kind of sickness, even almost like a cancer or a liver disease or something that would have taken a lot longer for her to pass away. I don't think she's any more than like her early 30s by the looks of her. So she's a lot younger than I would think in terms of, for some reason I feel like she should be older. So that makes me think that there's another energy around that's an older woman, or her mother might be closely associated with her. I hear drums. So when I hear drums, it's either, especially like in this setting, it's either something connected to either something Native American or Civil War, you know, when they would hit the drum during battle or things like that. Or Revolutionary War, things like that. So I hear drumming in the background, but I don't see anything. But I feel, I don't know, I feel like something happened over here, whether it's some kind of fight or battle or something. For some reason I hear the drumming back here, but I'm drawn to look this way as something that has happened. There's something about the Walmart over there. So the Walmart's sitting on something connected to this land as well. So these are the words that they're telling me. There's a rich white man that used to live over that way. So whether he lived like right there or he lived in that direction over there, but there was a rich white man. He lived over here somewhere. And he was what I like to term in terms of like bitter old man, curmudgeon. He was not what you would think of like as like what people think of as a philanthropist. He gives the impression of giving, but he wasn't a giving person. So they're showing me again the era. He's wearing like but he's wearing higher end clothing. But he's late 19th century, early 20th century, like one of those suits, those old like suits with the vest underneath. He even like I feel like he's showing me tails. So the tails might be just indicative of him telling me he was higher society, or that he had more money. Yeah, but he's one of those people in the front, good, kind, philanthropic, behind the scenes, not that way. Illegal things, somebody pious. He gives me the impression he took care of this place. So I'm not sure if he worked the land as a farmer somewhere over here, or if he actually helped and worked the land, like helped the area here, the buildings, like took care of the place, like the caretaker. But the land means something to him, so he did a lot of work on it. He was proud of it. But he labored a lot. Like he's lanky, almost like he hasn't eaten. The female, she's not very talkative. There is an older female here. How is she connected though? I can't figure out how she's connected to everyone. But she's here. But she's like, you know, the older women of that era, and they would have like, I can't even think how to describe the dress, but it's a one-piece dress, and she puts her hands here, almost like she's leaning them on her belly in a way, but she sits like this, and she's just kind of looking around, and she's over between those two trees over there. But she likes to spend her time over that way in that building. Not really that building. The gentleman, the older man with the that like looks like a preacher or farmer or something like that, he, or like very religious man, he goes everywhere. He's all around this area. He even goes back there where the Walmart is. Just here, boom, 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 boom. And then there's like a multi-beat, like boom, 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 boom. boom, 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 something like that. It's like that kind of music, that kind of drum. It's just usually like if it's Native American, it's a lot more drawn out, but again, I don't know a lot about this area.
Both the Revolutionary War and Indians
yeah?
were
Alright.
involved here.
I do feel the urge of a movement from that way to that way. So it's possible that whatever this larger event that happened here is connected to that, but there was a progression in this direction with the sound of the drum. So whether the two are connected, I can't tell, but a large event did happen over here. So I also keep hearing fire. Whether that fire was over here or the fire was over there, in that direction somewhere, I can't quite tell.
I think they're just numbers.
Yeah, this is 117. For some reason, the little boy brought me to 117. So, I don't know if this is him, or if this is somebody close with him, but he brought me to 117.
I mean, I think you tapped into one thing that I had questions about with a Native American or something old.
So Navajo is what came, I don't know if there's Navajo from this area or not, but Navajo is what the Native American tribe that came into my mind when we were talking about it. When I was trying to decipher what was war drumming and what was Native American. So there's overlap here. There's a lot of overlap.
Geneseo's seen a lot of trauma in that way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like I hear a woman singing, so I don't know if anybody's ever experienced hearing a woman humming or singing in these spaces, but there's a woman who hums and sings. I don't see her, but she's around. It's almost like I could feel her float through, and I hear Oh, they said multiple people living in it. Okay, so when we were walking in, there is a woman upper level, older woman. She was waving through the window. So it feels like she's giving me like the tired, almost like sick vibe. The only thing I can hear in this space right now are parties. And not like the parties down here. I like parties in a different era, like piano music playing. Men dressed in like the nice tuxedos. There's just this, it's like a combination of that and a combination of like despair. So it's like everything's kind of jumbled together right now. So I don't know if anybody, when they're doing up here working, they experience that kind of energy, but it feels like somebody's coming toward me and then they're gone. There's nobody there. Like if I were to look up, I see no one. If I were to come upstairs and see what the noise was, there's nobody here. But it's some kind of residual, and it's a man's walk. It's not a woman. It's a residual. Something serious just happened. I'm turning around and I'm walking fast-paced toward this side of the building. So it feels like I just got this piece of information, or I heard something. I need to move. I need to move quickly. But he's not running.
This meter went up to a red when you were talking about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I see beds. So I'm not sure if I'm picking up because we're doing both spaces, but I do see a lineup of beds. So usually when that happens, it means that either this was a space where there were a bunch of beds sitting in across the room, it was a hospital, or it was like a temporary space. If there was like an outbreak, people would have been brought here and then they would have been lined up, maybe not in this particular space here, but in this building, lined up and put on beds to be treated, things like that. So, or on the ground even. So they're showing me just the line of people. I can't tell who or what. Everybody feels like all different ages. I have older people, I have children, I have middle-aged people, like I have people from like just different age groups. So it's hard to tell. I do feel like something medical did occur. That's like this space is just like my chest hurts in this space. So either there was somebody here that passed away from something chest related, and maybe it was that gentleman, maybe it was somebody else in the space, or this group of people that were sick, or it's things. I feel like I can't think of things too now. Like my brain, ever since we started when we walked toward the cemetery, I can't come up with words. I can't get a straight thought. So I don't know if there was elderly care. So usually when I get confused and I can't think clearly, I'm usually speaking with spirit that has dementia, some kind of cognitive delay, some kind of cognitive disability, something that makes them, or they were on a lot of drugs, things like that would make them not cognitively as aware as they normally would be. So I just had a flash of somebody that I know that was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So I'm not sure if that's connected to this space, or if there was somebody here that had schizophrenia. I don't know if it's connected to the woman who was screaming outside. All they gave me was a flash of him, so I know it's schizophrenia. I know he was, because he, was diagnosed. He has the same look in his eye. So I'm not sure. Yeah, that's all they're showing me. Because I see smoke up here. So what kind of fire it was, I don't know. I don't see like flames and people running out. I just know there was a fire. I feel like I see people sitting out there. Like they would climb out the window and sit out on the roof. You know what OSR? When that other prison burned down? Yes. And they brought the prisoners and they put them in that part of the attic? Yes. And they were lined up in the beds? Uh-huh. That's just what I keep seeing. So I don't know if it's from within this whole building, but I just keep seeing that over and over again. Just the line of beds, bringing people from somewhere else. There's people even on the ground. My chest is killing me right now. It's crazy though, because I see parties, and I see this. So I heard cannon fire. It's like somewhere over here. Like I can't quite get the angle, but it's like somewhere in this area. I see somebody pulling. I hear like the cannon go off with the big wheels, almost like Gettysburg cannons. But like I see that cannon and it's shooting off. So I see a woman in a dress. She's got a lamp, like an old, the old like kerosene lamps and candle lamps and things like that. And she's running, and she's got a letter. She's running across. She's got like one of those capes, like warm capes on, and she's running through the property. So the last time I saw a woman like this was between homes related to the Underground Railroad. So either somebody's being snuck out related to the Underground Railroad, or somebody was being snuck out for other reasons. Like they were sneaking in and out, trying to get, somebody out of this building, or bringing them to this building. I just see her running across. And she's very similar to the lady that was in the cemetery, except her hair is lighter. So she's got long, almost like a sandy brown, lighter, like dark hair but lighter in color. This is crazy. It's like I see trials and I see hanging and I see like, is this whole area connected to this space? Because I can't, there's just like a mess of things going on. I'm trying to determine when the hanging situation happened, trial situation versus the lady running. So lady running still feels like late 19th century, early 20th century, like late 1800s, early 1900s, like to the 1930s, to the 1870s, like that range is kind of like when I see her era. Same as the older gentleman outside, and the gentleman, the rich older gentleman as well. Like a trial from like the 50s and 60s. So I see the trial, but then I see a hanging. I don't see them together. So I can't tell if this hanging happened and there was a trial as a result of this hanging, or vice versa, or if I'm seeing a hanging from another time, but they're like mixing together because this area just feels like it has so many different things happening at one time. High society, poverty, sickness, celebration, like it's got so many different things going on. I feel like I see, people like living here and not the best circumstances, like it just, so there must be somebody that's like a judge or somebody that was in government connected to whatever the situation was with the trial or this building. They lived in this building. Because the second I'm trying to figure out and differentiate between the trial and the hanging and the things that were going on, I see a gentleman, dark hair, and I hear judge and government. There's something under the ground. So I don't know if these buildings are connected, but I just saw maybe it's Underground Railroad, maybe she's giving me something symbolic, but I don't know. I just saw her walk from above the ground and then she walked underneath. And she's in some kind of underground, like tunnel. So I can't tell if she's walking into a basement, but she goes underground. How close is there a large, I know there's that creek or stream back there, but is there a larger river nearby?
The Genesee River.
Okay, because I just got the flash of also, like, female Native American off the water over there. And they're telling me they're peaceful people. So I don't know what ended up happening, but she's letting me know that they were peaceful people. But I don't know how that river also connects with this space too. And like the Native American culture, but all of these things together are connected to the river as well. So the woman outside, they just gave me a flash of there was a shooting. And not like a shooting like during the war. There was actually somebody like shot and killed.